Hey everyone, welcome to tonight's webinar on becoming a pro gamer. Today's webinar is brought to you by the South Australian Commissioner for Children and Young People and the Australian Esports League. Before we begin, I'd like to respectfully acknowledge and celebrate the traditional owners of the lands throughout South Australia, and we pay our respects to their elders and to past, present and future generations of their children and young people. My name is Domino and I am your host for this evening. I am joined by a very special guest for tonight. Welcome, Swip3rR.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Now, just for you guys so you know, Swip3rR is a top laner in League of Legends for Order Army and has played competitive League of Legends for over 7 years. He's won multiple championships and has done a huge life transformation. He's lost over 25 kilos in the last 2 years and has been a captain/leader for about 2 years now. So I'm going to hand over to Swip3rR in a second, and he's going to talk to you all about becoming a pro gamer. Now, just so you guys are aware, we are taking questions this evening again as well. So if you have any questions, throw them into the chat there on the side, and me and someone from the Australian Esports League will be collecting all of those ready to answer at the end. For now, though, I'm going to hand over to Swip3rR, and he's going to talk to you about being a pro gamer.
Worries. Well, yeah, no, just before I get into everything, I just want to say hello to everyone's here and welcome. I guess most of the stuff we'll be talking about today will just be sort of my experiences and my strategies, I guess, for becoming a pro gamer. As I think I think I've done the journey, probably, and it wasn't an easy way either. And I had to I had to overcome adversity and just deal with a lot of stuff. Welcome. And I guess I'll get into it. My achievements. I don't know how many titles I've won, to be honest. If I had to count, it's probably, I think it's maybe about 6 or 7. But I guess that's come just through hard work and dedication and realizing what it takes, I guess, to become a pro esports player and really making it. I haven't made it overseas, which is like the ultimate goal, I think, within Australian esports. But something that I've done, which is niche, and I think it's one of the better strategies, is to convert, not only being a pro player, but making a career out of it and having somewhat backup plans with what you need to do if it doesn't work out and you don't make it overseas, which is a very hard thing to attain. But yeah, where I am, well, currently I'm living in Melbourne. I'm living interstate. I'm normally from New South Wales, Sydney. I'm playing under the Order banner. I have played majority of my career on the Chiefs Esports Club, which is a pretty known organization. And I pretty much built that from the bottom with the group of guys that did form the first League of Legends team. And yeah, so I'm currently still in the OPL. I'm still going at it. I'm 26 now, which is pretty old for League of Legends years in esports, but I'm still competing at the top of my game. And with the strategies, I guess, I use and the daily lifestyle that I apply, I could see myself playing for another few years. And I think just everything about esports, like the income, everything, is all getting better. So I think there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and the bad parts of esports is definitely gone. So I think the good parts are yet to come. So getting into this industry is something that, if you enjoy gaming or anything like that, I think it is something that you should try and achieve, because it is a great goal. And I can speak from experience saying that, like, I don't have many regrets with my life choices in the last 10 years. So yeah, I guess that explains where I've come from as well. I guess if you wanted to show maybe a clip of me lifting a trophy, or maybe a League of Legends gameplay just before we get to the next slide, that'd be awesome. So whatever you.
There is no boss like a chief. Let's hear it.
Yeah, this is just this was Rift Rivals in 2018, so this was one of the more recent tournaments that I did win.
Up the trophy
this
for the
was
2018
competing against
League of Legends
Southeast Asia and
Rivals.
Japan. So no, this was honestly just a great feeling, and I just want to share it with you guys with just one of the moments that you get to feel when you can actually achieve your goals and ultimately reach that end goal. So I still want to do this more, but having done it already, gives me a reason to like call it when I need to, because I feel like I've already achieved most of what I need to do. But yeah, it's just one of the small goals. I think that if you want to become a pro esports gamer, you need to really want to win, and you really need to have the mindset of like coming second is just as bad as coming last. So you're essentially coming first or last in esports. And I think that applies with most athletes in most sports. If you're going to make it, you really need a strong mind, and you need the resilience to do all the small things, because the small things won't matter in the end. But yeah, my personal journey. Strategies sorry, I'll wait for the slide. Yep. So strategies I've personally learnt, and this comes from, I guess, the weight loss that I've just automatically lost. To be honest, like I didn't say to myself I want to lose this weight. I just wanted to change my lifestyle and change something, because I hadn't won in some time. So I wanted to try something new. And for me, not just playing the game 20 hours a day helped me quite a lot, and it helped me realize the importance of caring about all the small things, which is something that I might say a lot tonight, is that all the small things really matter. It's really easy to just say I want to be a pro and I want to cheat code my way to make it, but you need to do all the steps in order to do it, and constantly achieve goals that you're making. And something that I set myself out to do was go for like a daily run or go to the gym. I think all of these things aren't too much out of your day. Just eating healthier, drinking more water, like all of these things scientifically give you way better chances of probably winning. And even if it's that 1% that it helps you improve, like you need to just instantly jump on that as an athlete. And for me, yeah, so just to wrap that part up, would just be set a routine and stick to it. You won't perfect it overnight, and it took me over a year to actually even attempt to do. But everyone starts somewhere, and like you can start your journey wherever you want and whenever you want. So for me, you just have to like really sit down and address where your life is at and assess what you want to do. And if you want to be a professional gamer, you just got to be willing to like put in the work, because it is an easy thing. But in saying that, I think as long as you want it badly enough, I don't think talent is really a thing. There's a few individuals that really go against all odds, but it just comes down to the hard work. And if you what you want to do in life is become a pro gamer, and what you enjoy is gaming, then go for it. Like I think Oceanic Esports especially, like some people will say that it's dire and it's not looking good, but if you compare where esports was 7 years ago and where it is now, it's night and day. So for me, if you're that unique individual and you can make a brand out of it and really convert it into something, then it's a really fun life. So for me, it's something that I would recommend to people. And like when I have kids, like I'll be telling them about my journey, and like they might, if they want to be professional gamers, like sure, like I can help them. So I think it's something that you should be proud of wanting to do. But yeah, that's wrapping up the strategies I've learned. Building connections and creating opportunities. Now, something that I didn't learn until, because I was one of the more lucky ones with getting onto a good team. I was just had the raw talent, and at the time, I didn't really have to do too much to like get into the industry. It just sort of came to me, which a few pros will tell you that exact same story. But yeah, for me, it's just figuring out who you need to talk to and where you need to go with your brand. So Twitter is a great start, like creating a Twitter. Even if you're 13 or still young and you're still not ready yet, it's still good to create a Twitter and get onto that, get onto people's Twitches, like making friends. Like just being alone and trying to do it all individually is going to be a hard thing to do. So for me, it's make friends, keep playing games with people, get better, and eventually like the opportunity will just come to you. And when you get that opportunity, you just need to jump right on it. And if that opportunity isn't coming to you, then you probably need to address why it isn't. And that might be because you're not good enough, or because you're not you're not approachable enough. But there's always something that you can improve on yourself. And for me, it's just once you can figure out one thing wrong about yourself, you can constantly have something to improve on. And for me, I find that a lot of the people, they get stuck in the grind, which is what people will say, is that they don't know what to work on, and so they just play, and that only works for so long. And you're going to hit a point where you need to do something about it, and a lot of people don't. But if you're that person that really wants it, you just need to know what's next. Like, what's next? If it's like, for me, I'll just use an example of what I did today in practice. Like, I was playing poorly and I wasn't using my champion well. So I watched someone play the champion better than me, and I just said, okay, this guy did this spell in this order. I need to just practice this 10 times and see the good and bad things about it. That's something that I'm going to work on for the next day. And then after that, I'll figure out something else. So, like, no matter how good you are, there's always something to work on. And you just need to always continue to be acknowledging your weaknesses and your strengths and addressing what you need to do to get to the next level. And it's not an easy thing to do, but once you do it once, I think it becomes easier as time goes on. And once you become an old man like me, it'll just become second nature. So that's my advice on just building opportunities or creating opportunities. It just comes. Just keep at it. Just consistency is everything, and showing people that you're good enough. But yeah, so we're on the hard work one now, which is it isn't always about the grind. Don't get consumed by the play. Looking after yourself. So yeah, I've sort of already touched on the first two ones. It isn't always about the grind because lifestyle, I think, is almost just as important, especially for you younger guys and girls. It's really important to just know that playing League 20, or I'll say League, but playing a game 20 hours a day is not gonna help you make it. You need to address what you do other than gaming, and you need a second hobby, and you need friends, and you need all of this stuff, because all this stuff is the 1%ers that eventually adds up to being a professional gamer. So it's a long journey, but it's worth it. And looking after yourself, I guess, is the same thing. It's just, don't catch yourself in the moment. Like, sometimes, like, I've made the mistake because I haven't had the easiest journey, but I've caught myself in moments where I've been like, wow, like, Brandon, what are you doing? Like, stop doing this. This isn't helping you become a professional gamer. And once I realize that, I really snap out of it. So the best way to approach it is just to be happy. Like, do what makes you happy. If you're playing the game and you're trying to get good at the game and you're not happy, it's not for you, honestly. The grind is something that you need to love and you need to enjoy. So if you are one of them players that do enjoy the grind and do enjoy improving and being critical on yourself, then you'll make it. Like, I guarantee you, if you keep at it and you keep training hard and working hard and doing what you need to do, then you can make it. It's not as hard as what people say, especially in a region that is so young and so golden as Oceania. Like, there's so many opportunities in multiple games. So just picking your game and looking after yourself and being happy and doing what you enjoy is definitely the key for me. And I guess, yeah, the next thing for me would be confidence, which is the next slide that I have. And this, for me, is something that I've struggled with for many years, and I've only really cracked the code this year. And yeah, like, it's not even an easy subject for me to talk about, because I've probably lost myself grand finals or finals just based off not having confidence. And all the practice that you apply and you use won't matter if you don't believe in yourself. And trust me, like, for me personally, and I'm not like, I've played against some of the best players in the world in the game that I play, and I've felt their pressure, and it's actually not that further than, like, it's not unimaginable to achieve that stuff that these guys achieve, or guys and girls achieve. Like, there is definitely limits to what you can achieve, but it's not like everyone can make it, is what I essentially am saying. You just need to believe in yourself, because once you believe in yourself, people around you believe in you, and your enemies will also, like, respect you. So when you're confident because you're playing at your best and you feel like you're always doing things that you're thinking, and you're not catching yourself in moments where you're like, wow, I played this poorly. Because when you truly believe in yourself, there's no hesitation, and majority of gamers in general won't believe in themselves. And this is why people get stuck in situations or in ranks where you're not happy, and you're just either blaming your teammates, or you're not really addressing why you're not improving. And I truly believe this all comes down to the mindset of just truly believing in yourself. And this can apply to not even esports, but anything. Like, you need to trust yourself to do something, or it just won't happen. And for me, I figured it out this year, and I've already made drastic improvements. And I don't really get afraid of versing anyone anymore because I just believe in the preparation. Like my hard work that I've put in the last 100 hours this month won't go to waste. Like if I lose, then it's because my enemy just played better, but it won't be because of myself. And I think that is a very important aspect of continuing to improve. So that adds on to that. Honestly, is priority one for me out of everything. Is just really believing in yourself, because you won't be happy if you don't believe in yourself. And everything that I've listed in the last 10 minutes or whatever it's been won't matter if you don't trust yourself. And it's hard for people around you to trust you, and you can't even believe in yourself. So um, yeah, that for me is a big one. Yeah. Uh, Now, I guess more in a lighter topic would be communicating with your parents, and I I've had some personal stories. I guess I've had to deal with the more harsher parents, I guess you would say, and it's you guys probably there's probably a lot of people in the same boat as me that I guess parents don't really understand esports, and that is the thing that I think you really need to address with them is actually showing them that there's stadiums being filled up in America and Europe and Korea and all these countries. Even in Australia, in Melbourne, we filled up stadiums. So esports is a massive industry, and it is something that we're athletes. Like professional gamers are athletes, and we like this is a profession that people won't be ignoring in 5, 10 years. Like this will be such a mainstream thing where people will be um, learning esports in school. Like it's already becoming a thing, and it isn't an easy conversation to talk with your parents. And for me, it took me a few good arguments, to be honest, and a few going out the doors and just attending tournaments and then coming back with money. But if that's what it takes, then that's what you need to do, because um, you need to just if you want to be a professional gamer, it needs to be your priority. And most parents will understand if you show them that you have the passion for it, and you need to be able to not just all in and like. So when I say this, like, don't play the games 20 hours a day. This is all like you got to remember the stuff that I talked about just before. Like you need to show your parents that you're practicing in a good mindset. You're not sitting in your room for countless hours. You're not staying up and then ditching school the next day. I've done that before, so I'm not perfect, but it's not something that you want to do. You want to stay consistent. You want to have a good lifestyle, and you just want to. When you play games, it needs to be high intensity if you want to be a professional gamer. You can't play games and half-ass it, because it is a very important thing to master. But once you get the routine, it's just time from there. It just takes time. It might take you a year. Sometimes it might take you 2, 3 years. Like, but eventually, if you continually grind and you continually show your parents that this is what you want to do, it just comes, and eventually they'll support it. Now I have my parents coming in watching my games. They actually fly into state and they'll play a game. They'll watch a game that I play, and that means the world to me. So I even though I had all the hardships with them, it's really good knowing that they have my back now and they support me. So just truly believe in yourself, and everything will come easy like this stuff. So yeah, the next slide I have is formulating the mindset, which I've sort of touched on a tiny bit, but I have a unique way of actually formulating the mindset. So for anyone that doesn't follow me on socials, I am a big anime weeb. You can sort of see in the background, I've got some posters. Anime is like my backbone, and the characters in anime are very, very insanely like crazy and emotional, and all of these like they're just extremes. Like anime is an extreme way of life, and there's just some characters in these animes that I actually can look up to, and it might sound weird to some people, but sometimes you just need that. If it's like a comic book or like a manga or even a TV show like Supernatural or something like that, like if there's someone in these shows that you look up to, I sort of have them in the back of my mind when I'm feeling slack or I'm feeling like I'm not putting in 100% effort. So my one example that I have is Attack on Titan. For anyone that knows this anime, the Armored Titan in it is it's completely unrelated, but I just like say that I'm the Armored Titan. So like people actually call me the Armored Titan. I just sort of created this never give up stigma, and I listed it as a Titans group. So it can be for yourself or for others. But I've actually sort of influenced some of the region to have this never give up attitude, and they call themselves a Titan. So I've done it more so than you need to. But like, if you just need one for yourself, just connect yourself with a character. Like, say if it's Boku, like a my hero, and it's like All Might. You just need to like adopt his mindset of why he's successful. This stuff, it might sound silly, but it's all the 1% stuff, and it's all the small things that matter. And having that routine, and then going back to like this never give up attitude if I need to, as like if I start making excuses, like I just remind myself, like, stop giving up. Like, you're not being realistic here. And for me, like, everyone's human in the end, and talent does exist. Don't get me wrong, and sometimes it's going to be harder than others to get to that level. But I don't see a reason why no one can, like, anyone can make it. Like, there's thousands of players that, maybe even more than that are already at that level of being a professional gamer. They just don't know it. So you might be closer than you think, and I just think you just have to keep at it, and only do it if you really want to. But if you really want to, it's going to happen, because I don't think I'm a talented individual, but I just sort of put in the work and created this mindset and the lifestyle, and it's come easily to me. When I even talk about it, it's just like second nature. Like, I don't do anything scientific or tricky to do this stuff. I watch a lot of YouTube videos of some people that I look up to, but it's not an easy. I definitely am. It's definitely not easy. It's definitely not easy, but it's achievable if you want it. But yeah. So the next slide is I guess more of a touchy subject for me. But yeah. So the title is Esports Saved My Life, and this is a picture of my sleeve that I currently have, and I won't take my jumper off or anything because I guess there's a photo there, which is great. But when people look at this tattoo, they think of just League of Legends and characters. And some people are like, I've had people just give me a bit of crap for having League of Legends characters on me, but it's a lot more than that to me. And for me, why I wanted to talk about this is because I think it's a very important topic to bring up, and it's just about our headspace. And on the last slide, it showed that I have been partnered with Headspace a few times. And I've helped them out a lot because for me personally, I've dealt with a lot of depression and social anxiety, and I have stories of playing my first 2 tournaments, and my hands were shaking while I was playing, and like very sweaty, and I just couldn't focus. And I know this is very hard to talk about, and even for me right now, it's hard. But this is a very common issue in esports, and I think people with this issue. Or with these issues, like, they tend to get clung towards gaming, and people view this as a negative thing. But for me, it was an insanely positive experience because I dropped out of school. I got bullied towards the end of my high school. I didn't really have a good few years in that aspect. I was sick quite a lot, and I just played gaming. I just played League of Legends and all the other games that I played. And for me, this transitioned into such a great opportunity, and I just wanted to sort of reward myself and just remind myself what I've gone through when I look at my arm, because overcoming this stuff through force or whatever it takes. But when you meet people online, I think it really helps with depression and anxiety, and that it's just such a good avenue to fix these rough parts in your life that you've had. So it is a very darker topic, but it's something that I really think needs to be looked at a positive, because I find that some parents and some people really blame the gaming on why people get more anxious and more depressed, and it's just not the case. And I think that this actually helps it a lot, as long as you do it correctly. And for me, it's all the steps before this. Even if you don't want to become a professional gamer and you're here tonight just to hear me talk, but know that do what you enjoy and really look after yourself, because it is a very important thing no matter what you do. And I guess, with the tattoo, it's just the bottom part is overcoming adversity and anxiety and depression. And then the upper part of my tattoo is more transitioning into a leader, because if you met me 7 years ago, then you meet me now, you probably wouldn't even know, like you wouldn't even recognize me. Not only looks, but talking to me, because I've just come such a long way, and I really attribute it to all of this esports stuff that I've gone through, because I've met so many amazing people and just strong personalities, and had so many opportunities to present myself on television and stuff even like this, which is awesome. But yeah, for me, that is my journey, and I just sort of wanted to share with you guys that it is an important thing to address and to acknowledge and know that gaming is a positive thing, in my opinion. Yeah. Education is important. So yeah, so this is something that I did very poorly. So like I said, I dropped out of school. I didn't have the greatest few years there. I honestly regret it quite a lot, because it was my fault that I had such a bad end of school. Like, I was just hanging out with the wrong people and everything like that. And sometimes that's all it takes, is sort of separating yourself from that group. But finishing school and having a backup plan is probably the most important thing. Now, don't get me wrong. If you want to be a true athlete, there shouldn't be a huge plan B in your life, because then you'll just lose focus of the main goal. But having that education will not only help you as a backup job, but it will help you get further within esports, because I had to learn a lot of what I know now through hard situations in esports, and I don't really wish that upon many people, because it's very rough dealing with that. With not going into too much detail, but there are situations that you need to be pretty well informed and just educated to know what the correct decision and the correct choice to do. So that is the number one priority in your life if you're still a young kid. So really don't skip school, guys. It's you probably hate hearing it, and I hated hearing it when I was young, but it is truly the most important thing. Maintain, yeah. Well, yeah, we already touched on the maintain balance, which is good. But yeah, my weight loss journey, keep yourself healthy for sure. And then to sort of wrap it up, is a quote that I just randomly wrote to an article last year, and it is something that there is a lot to look into when you read it. And just read it. It'll probably take you a couple of times to read it, but just to wrap it up and to really express my opinion on this subject, is that I've had situations where I've been in Ubers or I've talked to older generations, and they've just sort of looked at esports as a joke. And I don't, like, the main reason why I do talk about this is not to get too angry at that, because I sort of expect it as a very young sport. But it's just to let you guys know, and girls, that what we're doing is a great thing. And like, we are definitely labeled as athletes, in my opinion. And we should be put at similar levels to that, because the amount of training and the amount of regimen and lifestyle that we need to actually make it, and to make it work. We train probably even more than a lot of athletes. And because gaming is not too physical, we use a lot more mental side of things, and we can grind the game a lot more. So yeah, to just wrap this all up, it's just, we are athletes, and being a pro gamer is not a bad thing. And if you want to do it, do it. Like, there's no don't be hesitant with it. It's a very enjoyable thing to do. So yeah, that would be it from me.
Awesome. Well, thank you for those insights, Swiper, and giving us a bit of a look into your journey as a player. We will get onto some questions. We've had a few questions come through. We had a few on the registrations as well. If anybody else has some questions, make sure you throw them in there, and we'll add them to our list. So I'll just get to our first question. Someone has, this is one of the registered questions. They asked, is there any grants or funding out there apart from tournament winnings?
Well, from my experience, with League of Legends at least, Riot Games has been very helpful, with the oceanic industry, and just like with it, probably globally. But we almost get no money from tournament winnings, if that makes sense. Like, we're all salaried full time. So, with League of Legends specifically, which I think is one of the safer esports to make a career out of in Oceania, most of the income that we generate is salaried, and I think when you go to more niche games and games like Fortnite and stuff, like, they're a lot more based on tournament winnings. So it just depends, like, what you want to choose and what you enjoy. But you'll make income no matter what you do with gaming, if you're an athlete.
Awesome. All right. Our next question is, how do you recommend achieving a balance between the trade-off of going pro and still performing well academically?
Yeah, I guess that's a hard one to tackle, and it's a balance that you sort of just need to figure out with like by yourself, if that makes sense. Because you won't figure out the solution overnight. You'll have a lot of failures before you actually find the conclusion of what you need to do next, and how you need to like manage the priorities in the bar. And I think once you're in the actual esports realm, the education sort of just goes away a little bit, because you can sort of make an actual career out of it. But until you make it, you have to sort of acknowledge that you do still need to study and you still need to do all this stuff. So I think there's just you just need to find that healthy balance, and eventually you'll find your own conclusion. And some people are different. Maybe just like, yeah, that's all. Yeah.
That's all right. Our next question, they've said, hi, I'm a teen that plays on a PS4 and just started streaming. How do I get into the esports scene?
Yeah, okay. I don't actually know the competitive scene too much in placed in consoles, but like you can definitely make it no matter what you do. Something that like one person I couldn't even tell you who told me, but it's something that stuck with me forever, and it's just like you could be a janitor, but like as long as you're in the top 2%, like you're gonna make an income out of it. Or the top like there's always that percent that you need to achieve before you actually make income. And whether you want to be like a streamer or a content creator, you just need to find out what works, and once you do make it, you'll make an income out of it, and it'll just, you won't even realize what you did. It'll just happen, and you'll enjoy the journey, and then you'll just be set up for income. So it depends on what you want to exactly do, but just keep at it and just always stay consistent, because consistency within content creation is the most important thing.
Speaking of journeys, our next question, they've actually said they're interested to find out more about the journey of esports. So a little bit more, I guess, about what the journey of esports has been like for you as a player.
Yeah, okay. Well, I guess I was at the beginning of League of Legends, at least, within not the true beginning, but when Riot got involved with Oceania. But back then, it was a lot more like, if I was having this conversation today back 7 years ago, I probably wouldn't recommend becoming a professional gamer to people, because the income back then was very, very minimal, and you put in a lot of hard work for not much return, if that makes sense. Because if you didn't win, then you almost got nothing back then. So it was a tough journey, and the people that did it back then I have a lot of respect for, because we only did it out of pure passion. Like, we did it because we were just competitive people. But as sort of the years have gone on, and especially within the last like three and a half years, it's become apparent that esports is massive globally, and no matter where you go, you sort of just have like an esport to watch and to follow. So my journey personally has been a very, very long one, and I couldn't even remember like half the times I've gone overseas now, which is crazy. But I've gotten to do all of the good things, and for anyone that does want to get into esports, like, from now to the next 7 years, it's going to look even more insane, which is the crazy thing. So that's why I sort of never want to leave esports, because I want to see where it goes. Like, I want to see where it lands.
Be a part of that journey,
because it's been such a crazy, like, just upward spiral. Like, there's sort of been no downwards within Oceania, like League of Legends esports at least. And for me, it's just like been an awesome journey. So if you wanted to look more into that, there's plenty of YouTube videos of just competitive league and like immunity days and Chiefs days, and I just think there's a lot of content out there and stuff that you could just binge overnight. So yeah.
Awesome. All right. Max has asked, hey Swiper, I'm a challenger player currently playing in OCS and doing year 12. I'm looking to get into OPL next year. I'm wondering if you think getting top 10 and first/second in OCS will get me an offer.
Like absolutely, to be honest. I think that both of them it's a hard thing to achieve. So like even if you didn't achieve them two things, like you still have a good shot. Like my most important feedback to rookies and especially Challenger Series players in OCE is just have a good attitude and show people that you really want to learn. Because There are there's so many opportunities there's 8 teams. Like you can have up to like 10, 12 players per team. Like even if you wanted to become that in-house like substitute at first, just to sort of climb the food chain. But like the number one priority is showing people that you care. You're not a bad person, and that you are talented. So getting to a higher rank is an important thing. Winning OCS is something that you can't do it alone. Like you need the team around you, and sometimes you're just not given that team that will help you win. So you just got to keep at it and keep showing that you're a strong individual. And I think your time will definitely come. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, good luck, Max. Hey.
Yeah. Good luck,
Hopefully,
Max.
we'll see Max in the OPL next
Yeah.
year. Okay. Our next question comes from Lance. How do you get into tournaments?
For me, it's a weird story, to be honest, because I was just that guy that just played a bunch of games, and like all the stuff that I sort of brought up, like I just got pretty lucky in the moment. I was just very good, and I just randomly got a message by a scouter, I guess, and I think that's probably one of the ways to do it. It's just getting really good and getting noticed. But the way that I would recommend to rookies these days is just being active on social media is one of the biggest things. And whether that be on a Twitch stream that you follow, like a guy or a girl that you follow that is in the esports scene, and just showing them support, like watching them, like making them remember your name, and then slowly growing from there, like becoming a better player, and just all the dots will sort of align. Like it just sort of happens, and it's something that's really hard to explain, but just keep on trying, like put in effort. Like when you show effort, like people really notice that stuff. So that would be my best advice.
Okay. Our next question. They've asked, do you live in team housing, or have you lived in team housing, and what's that like?
Well, yeah, I've lived in a team house with up to 10 dudes for about 3 or 4 years now. So I've actually done it for quite a long time. I would admit that it's probably not the pleasant experience sometimes, because you're living and working with the same people. And you're with these people 24 hours a day. Now, there's always some awesome stories that you get at the end of year. And for me, it's been I've learned a lot at least. Like I've not always had the best times, but at least I've learned something. And that's sort of like how my mindset is. Like as long as I'm learning, then I'm going forwards. And being in a gaming house has its pros and cons. But it's been an awesome journey, and just always trying to achieve a goal with a group of people around you is an awesome feeling. And when you do finally achieve that goal, like not much in life can sort of you don't get that feeling much elsewhere. So I enjoy it.
Awesome. Okay. Another question we've got for you is there anything you've learnt throughout your journey as an esports player that you wish you'd known, or someone might have told you before you started?
Yeah. For me, it's just being a nice person, to be honest. And it's like the easiest way to put it. Like I wasn't a nice person when I first started, because when I say that, I wasn't too bad, but I probably wasn't a great player to play with. Like I was very critical on other people, and I would blame people too much, if that makes sense. Like it's very easy to blame your teammates in random queued games. But if you always have the mindset of that you could have played this a bit better, then you will just be a nicer person. And for me, it not only helps you enjoy the game more, your life feels better when you're being nice to people. And when you're ignoring people that are like the haters, when you ignore them people, instead of like being combative, like you feel like you've won, and you feel like that you've accomplished something. And for me, that really created the whole mindset that I've sort of brought into the industry. It's just be a good person. And it's sort of just where the foundation was set for me.
All right. Another question for you. We've been asked, how much of your day do you spend playing a game? Because I'm presuming you have VOD, you've trained, there's other things going on, but how much of that day would you actually be spending playing League of Legends?
Yeah, so for me, we have a minimum practice of five hours a day, and that's strict team practice. So that's not only 5 hours of playing, but it's watching the game that we just played as well. So that is the bare minimum that we do. The way that I've structured it is that when I'm feeling very good and consistent, I'll play the game less. But when I feel like I need to maybe learn a character or learn like a role or something like this, I could be playing up to maybe 14 hours a day, which like that does sound quite like that sounds a lot, but like it's not actually a lot in esports industry because you have a lot of these younger guys that actually play up to more like 18, 19 hours a day, and I'm not exaggerating, and that's a lot more on the extreme. So I think the night like if you want to be if your goal is to be a professional gamer, then I think you probably want to set yourself to about 8 or 9 hours a day of playing. If you're a casual or you're not looking to do that, then just do what you enjoy. But sometimes it'll feel like work, but that is sort of the minimum that I've learned that you need. And it's just reality in my opinion, and it's just what it takes to be the best. And I enjoy every bit of it. So yeah.
Okay. As a young person, when do you think the best age is to go pro, or is there any age? Is there age limits? What's
Yeah,
go there?
it's actually a really hard question for me because you find some of these Fortnite kids that are like 12, like 13, and they're making millions of dollars just winning tournaments. So I think you just need to set priorities in life, and even if you're like, I think minimum would be like teenage years, like 14, 15. But like priorities should always be like finishing school should be number one, and then like being healthy should be number two, and then like this gaming goal that you set can be number three. And then as you get older, you can change the priorities around, but that should be your foundation as a young kid. And if you're that talented, like you can make it before you're like 18. But most people that I've sort of just worked with and been around, it takes for you to be about 17, 18 before you actually feel like you've matured to the point that you can be a good teammate and someone that will learn in a very stressful and intense environment. So it's different for everyone, but that would be around my age mark of the limit that I would play with personally. And yeah, so yeah, it's about 17, 18.
Awesome. Okay. I'm just checking to see if we have any other questions. If anyone, cause no, I think we might have actually gotten through our questions there,
Wow.
Which is
That's
quite
wrong.
good timing. So if anyone else does have a question, quickly throw it in a chat. We have a few more minutes left, so I'm just going to see if we've had any others come through. Let me check 1 second. Okay, question for you. As an esports player, have you always been able to play esports, full time, or have you ever had second jobs or other work to sort of keep income coming and things like at the moment you're getting to play full time, but has it always have there been times when you that can't rely on that solely?
Well, for my personal experience, no. Whether I recommend that way would be absolutely not. I think that you do need to have that second form of income. I've really all in on being a professional gamer, and it's something that because I dropped out of school and I had that rough few years, it just became my life goal to sort of be the best, and I made it. It's definitely a risk that people do take, but it's not something that I would advise. Like I would suggest that you do have that second job. When I was playing esports in the first couple of years, I was making like less than $1,000 a year for like 2 years. So that's the extreme that I had, and it's not something that I would have recommended. Now it's okay, especially if you do choose League of Legends to be your primary game. I think you can make it a full-time job pretty easily if you're good. And then I know like some of the Counter-Strike guys and the Overwatch guys do have second jobs because they aren't in actual gaming houses. Because I think the gaming house is what creates the full-timeness. If you're playing from home in a team, you should absolutely have a second job, in my opinion. It's just when you have to go full-time, that's when you should. But until that point, I think you should have, you should at least be learning or having a second hobby in your life that can create income. If that makes sense.
All right, we've had a question come in from I apologize if I get this name wrong. Erebus, maybe?
Yeah.
He's asked, Erebus, yes. Okay, now he's also asked about a particular legend, which I feel like I'm going to stuff this name up as well, so correct me if I'm wrong. How does Swip3rR feel about Amumu as a champion? I'm a one-trick trying to go pro. Now, did I absolutely butcher that character name?
No, you actually got it perfectly right.
Yes!
But this guy's been a bit of a troll, but
Aw.
he's got a very funny story about just smashing me with a Moo and also I would try and play a Moo in a game mode called ARAMs, and
Okay.
I would completely miss every spell. So there's just some champions that, because I'm an older guy, there's some champions that I just can't pilot, and I get teased for it sometimes. So it's just
Aw.
reality. Thanks for the question though, Erebus. I appreciate it.
Well, I'm going to have to check out this champion, I think, myself then, just to see what the go is there. All right, well, that is actually all our questions this evening. So perfect timing. We're getting to finish right on time today. So thank you so much for your time this evening, Swip3rR, and for your insights.
Oh yeah, thanks. It was great to be here tonight. So I appreciate it.
And everybody who has come tonight, thank you so much for your time. Make sure if you'd like to, you can follow Swip3rR on his Twitter. I'm going to jump back to our two-speaker scene just quickly so you guys can see his Twitter there, down there. As you can see, it's Swip3rR. There's a 3 in there as well. So make sure you go and drop him a follow, in case you want to keep up to date with his esports journey. But otherwise, thank you everyone who came tonight to this webinar on becoming a pro gamer. Thank you to the South Australian Commissioner for Children and Young People and the Australian Esports League, for without either of them, tonight would not have happened. Now, we do have a form for feedback, so we would love if you wouldn't mind filling this out and letting us know how you found this webinar. We're going to drop the form in the chat now, and you can check that out. I hope you've all found tonight beneficial and perhaps learned something new in the world of esports. Thank you and good night.